Okay, hello, this is Z-Man96 here, and now you're gonna get my thoughts on the Super Bowl now. It's been a few days, it's Friday now, the Super Bowl's on Sunday, obviously. And honestly, I meant to make this video earlier, but I was kinda angry with the, results of the Super Bowl. My main thing was, well, I didn't really like either of the teams that were in it. I don't like Peyton Manning. I don't like Cam Newton. I don't like the coaches either. I think fucking Kubiak is a dumb shit. I think Rivera is an asshole. So, no matter what happened in the Super Bowl, I was going to be pissed off. That's just how it is. Part of it is I'm a Patriots fan. My team was in there, so obviously that's going to bother me. But normally I can enjoy the Super Bowl even when my team isn't there, because I mean that's pretty rare when my team isn't there. The Patriots are pretty much there every other year, but they had to take an off year. So, anyway, the point is, I'm gonna, share my thoughts on the Super Bowl. Overall, the game was pretty good. I think the final score was 24-10. That doesn't really show how close the game was. I mean, if Cam Newton gets that fumble late in the game, they still have a chance. I think, even though he was getting the Broncos were pounding him. So it was more. It wasn't really, the score makes it seem like it was further apart than it actually was. It was a relatively close game, even though the Broncos led from the beginning, and yeah, they led from the beginning. That was it, because I mean the Panthers never took the lead. Newton never looked comfortable. I mean, even early on before the pass rush was getting there, he was missing guys. I think he started off 1 for 6, maybe. Just terrible, and that fucking fumble he had early on that was recovered by the Broncos for a touchdown. That kind of really, that pretty much was the end of it. I mean, he after that there was no chance of him getting comfortable. I'm not sure if that's the first or second sack they got on him. So, yeah, I was very disappointed with Cam Newton. I mean, for the all the weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, I was expecting a blowout. I thought the Panthers were going to completely steamroll the Broncos. I mean, most people thought the Panthers would win, and a lot of people thought they would crush them. Like I did. I was expecting at least I was expecting it to be similar to the Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl a couple years ago. That 43-8 massacre. I wasn't expecting it to be that bad. I was expecting it to be comparable. Obviously, I was way off. It was a 24-10 game that was controlled by the Broncos, and I really never thought that the game was in jeopardy for them, mainly because their defense was outstanding. Now, I was one of those jackasses who completely underestimated their defense. Yeah, I'm an idiot for that. I also completely overestimated Cam Newton. I thought he was a better quarterback than the game showed he was. I will admit, I did not watch a lot of Panthers games throughout the year, so I guess my bias was I just thought he was good because they won a lot of games. And it's hard to win a lot of games with a average quarterback. I mean, he looked subpar in the game. I mean, he's one of those quarterbacks that makes $20 million a year, so I expected him to perform better. Put the team on his back. That's what you're supposed to do. But when he didn't make the plays I expected him to. Granted, the rush was pretty bad on him, but I think he missed a lot of throws early on before the rush was even getting to him. And I think if he makes those plays, it's a different game. I still think the Panthers would lose because the game just showed how fragile they were, at least how fragile Newton was, because he just fell apart. I mean, they got behind and they never recovered. They were just like it was similar to the game a couple years ago between the Broncos and the Seahawks, because the Panthers were mentally weak the way the Broncos were a couple years ago. Well, it wasn't the Panthers who were weak. It was just Cam Newton in the offense. Cam Newton, Greg Olsen. Did Greg Olsen even have a freaking catch in the game? I think he had one or two, because it just felt like I didn't hear his name called at all, because Keith Lee was on him. So, and he did an excellent job of shutting down Olsen. So, yeah, but I was very disappointed with Newton, as I said. I was impressed as hell by the Broncos' defense, and I mean, I wasn't even sold after them after they completely dominated the Patriots. And in both games, Von Miller he just fucking carried the team. I mean, honestly, I don't think the Broncos win either game without him. I mean, he was that freaking awesome. I mean, a lot of people say that J.J. Watt is probably the best defensive player in the game. And I kind of tend to agree with him, but in the postseason, if I want a pass rusher, I'm going with fucking Von Miller. Because I just think J.J. Watt is great in the regular season, but he can't win the postseason. Well, he doesn't really have much of a team around him to win the postseason, but, Von Miller does. Von Miller's got DeMarcus Ware on the other side, who's pretty good in that game, too. So, yeah, Von Miller was outstanding. I mean, you all fucking know this already. He's the Super Bowl MVP. Now as to Manning, this may sound weird, but he actually played better than I expected him to. And it's kind of strange to say that when he threw a pick, lost a fumble, and really didn't contribute to the win at all. But I honestly expected him to be completely collapsed against that Panthers defense. I just thought, I mean, obviously his arm isn't very good anymore. And I thought the Panthers would get off to a lead early on, so he'd make a lot more mistakes. But he didn't. Now, granted, I still think he's the only reason the game was as close as it was. Because if it wasn't for him, if it was an average, if he played average, the game is going to be a 20, 30-point game. That's just a fact, with how well their defense played and how poorly Cam Newton played. Yeah. So, I do think he kept the fucking Panthers in the game with his poor play, but still, that's better than I expected. I expected him to completely sink them. Because, well, he's old. And he hasn't played well all season. He had 17 interceptions in the regular season. I mean, he played okay in the postseason against the Patriots and the Steelers. Yeah. So I really didn't expect much of him. I expected him to be terrible. I mean, he was subpar in the game, but that's still much better than I was expecting. Again, maybe I'm just a jackass for underestimating Manning, but I mean, most Patriots fans do underestimate him because we've had a pretty good history against him until recently. I mean, now he's ahead of Brady in the, he's 3-2 against Brady in the postseason now, so really shouldn't be underestimating him at this point. But honestly, I still do expect him to retire after this is all, after everything's cleared up. But if he doesn't, I mean, I'll make sure not to underestimate him next year. I hope Belichick doesn't, but that's besides the point. So, yeah, the Super Bowl was pretty good. Closer than I expected. Definitely not the result I was expecting with the Broncos winning. But it's good. And after thinking it over, this was probably the best result because the way Cam Newton has acted afterwards is it's ridiculous. He's acting like a fucking child. I didn't really respect him much to begin with, but I respect him even less now. I mean, you're going to be bragging and all that shit when you're winning, and now you're going to act like a little bitch afterwards, and then defend your actions. And the way I really could care less about how he acts off the field, but what pisses me off is the way he fucking ran away from that fucking fumble in the Super Bowl. It's like, dive on it, you motherfucker. Don't play for next year. Play for right now. Your team, you fucking just bailed on your team there. Another thing about the Panthers that pissed me off is I think Greg Olsen said the Broncos defense wasn't as good as everyone says it is. It's like, shut the fuck up, man. You got creamed. Well, I mean, you specifically, Olsen. I mean, you got fucking shut down. So why the fuck are you talking shit? I mean, no one on the Panthers, no one in either offense should be talking shit. I mean, they both offenses sucked in the game. That's just a fact. So yeah. And now, I think if Cam Newton won, it would just be fucking insane the publicity he's getting. I mean, he's getting insane publicity with the fucking loss. I mean, I don't think we would probably never. It's gonna be a few years before anyone stops talking about him. I think he's gonna collapse after this because I think he's a mentally weak player. That's just my opinion. And, really don't have much else to say. I'm very disappointed with how Cam Newton played during the game and how he's acted afterwards. I'm surprised Manning played as well as he did, even though he was subpar. But, yeah, he did okay. I really don't have much to say about him. Now, Von Miller, he was outstanding, Super Bowl MVP, and they have got to fucking sign him to an extension. Because I looked up his contract, and he's a free agent now, so they've got to sign him, and they're going to have to probably pay big bucks for him. They're probably going to franchise tag him, because I don't think they're going to come to a reasonable deal right now. I mean, it was a contract year for him, and he did what you'd expect him to do. He kicked ass. He took names. He ended as well as you possibly could with a Super Bowl MVP. So if they do come to a contract extension contract, it's going to be huge. It's probably going to be comparable to what J.J. Watt makes, which is reasonable because he played well and he carried his team to the Super Bowl in my eyes. I don't think the defense is nearly as good without him. So yeah, that pretty much clears up. That's pretty much the end of that. I'll probably make another video when it's time, another football-related video when it comes time for the draft. I'll probably, talk about the first round, maybe like the top 10, 16. I'm not gonna talk about the whole thing because, well, as you know, the Patriots don't have a first-round draft pick this year, so I'm not gonna invest too much of my time focusing on it. So that's just me. So yeah, expect a video then. So see you guys. This is Z-Man96 here. Click the like button, subscribe, and well, yeah, see you.